Well, this is tremendously awkward. So I know I haven't been uploading for the past, like, I don't know, month basically, and I do apologize for that. I've pretty much just been working, catching up on bills, and doing all of the boring, not so fun stuff that everyone's gotta do. And that being said, I have a lot of updates to make. We're gonna be working on all of my vehicles today. The Firebird, the Prelude a little bit, the Jeep, gotta work on everything. The Prelude's actually fixed. If you guys recall, my rear caliper back here went bad, so I slapped a new one in there. Seems like it's working pretty all right. My big step that I want to take for this car is basically to treat it like I've treated the Firebird, where I take half the car at a time and just completely rebuild it. So I'm probably going to start with the front half on this one. I'm not sure, it doesn't really matter which half I start with, but I really want to get new wheels and coils all around. And then I want to go ahead, I want to rebuild the entire chassis underneath, all new bushings, you know, sway bar and links, all the fun stuff. I want to do that really, really bad on this car because I haven't even driven the Firebird yet and I know it's going to be sick. I also pre-apologize for the bad audio quality in the next couple videos. I still got to pick up a new mic. So yeah, that's just something I thought I'd share, is I'm going to be doing the full Firebird complete rebuild treatment on the Prelude, probably sometime starting next year. Maybe it'll be something I start buying parts for over the winter, but I'm not sure. As for the Firebird, as you guys can see, the bumper, this stuff is all just hanging on here, but I will be bolting it down today. I got to grab some hardware, and as we all know, hardware costs way too much money, so I got to grab some of that. And once the hood and the fenders are bolted down, I'm gonna be putting my Sniper EFI in. I'm gonna start mocking stuff up for like the custom radiator, which I have to notch out in the radiator support. All my wiring, I gotta start figuring all that out. I still gotta get a new windshield, but it is at least covered for now with the plastic wrap, and it actually seems to keep this car oddly dry, so I'll take it. I did new door pins on both sides. As you can see, this door, for like a 200-pound Firebird door, can one finger it, and it closes, it opens like absolute butter. So that's awesome. That one has to be adjusted a bit more. But yeah, new pins and bushings top and bottom. Kind of a pain process to do, but 100% needed and 100% worth it. As for in here, it's just all seam sealed still. I haven't touched the other side yet. Still got to paint the inside, do the rear floor pans, but I got my painted hinges right there. I really want to get this thing going down the road, and let me show you guys why I think that's going to happen sooner rather than later. In the garage, we have the bobber, which I'm going to be doing the full reveal video on, so we're going to skip that. The Beta is plated. Yup, look at the plate number. Report me to the feds. So the Beta's plated. It cost over $800 to register this bike. I don't like taxes. We also have this bike. Now, if you remember, my 04 200 EXC, it was my race bike. And then, like, the chain hit the slave cylinder and the case oil went blah, blah, blah on the ground. Not a good time. What is a good time is the fact that I fixed it. I have a brand new slave cylinder on there, brand new gasket and all that. I smoothed out the surface that's on the case, so it doesn't leak anymore. That's why the paper's underneath it. I started up, it starts first kick, runs mint. I'm probably going to end up rejetting the carbs just so it doesn't spooge as much as it does, because it spooges a lot. Spooges that black gunk that builds up on the tip. I also have black gunk building up on my tip. So yeah, I gotta fix that. It smokes a lot, so I need a new pilot and a new main jet. The pilot will fix the spooge and the main jet will fix the smoking. So that's the plan for this bike, and then I'm going to sell it. So if you want to buy it, got loose spark busters, never been raced. Nope, definitely not. So yeah, once I sell the KTM, every single dime from that is getting dumped into the Firebird, because the Firebird needs a quick rambling list. To finish the floors, drive shaft, wiring harness, a transmission filter and fluid change, coolant oil, different oil filter, a full exhaust, because it's just got headers right now. It needs a seat, a cage, a harness, my custom gauge cluster, not including any of the fun stuff like the carpet, the headliner that I want to do. It still needs headlights, like I said, the full wiring harness, wheels, tires. I got to do the custom radiator, which the radiator is sitting right over there. I have to do the whole cooling system, the whole fuel system. I got to run fuel line, everything. This car needs absolutely everything, but that's what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to start off with a little bolt check on the Jeep, because the Jeep does have a few bolts that are less than tight. As for the Mustang, no updates. I haven't touched it. It's just been sitting in my yard, which I guess I kind of expected to happen, so. And we're going to tighten them, because I probably should have done that sooner. I think, oh my God. So when I told you that I saw bolts that were loose, right? Like, that's concerning, that's a problem. We are like, I'm gonna get out from underneath this thing right now because we got a problem. Do regular maintenance on your cars, and when you notice something wrong, fix it. This is an embarrassing moment, but a humbling one. So, I'll admit it. I probably should have checked that sooner. So I'm under the Jeep. I'm just like checking all the bolts, like hand tightness, making sure they're good. And I knew the exhaust had a leak. Like I showed you guys, that rot spot. I was checking over, looking at the drive shaft, and I started shaking the exhaust because this truck makes, I don't want to call it a truck, this Jeep makes a really weird rattling sound, like when you first let off the clutch, and I always pretty much knew it was the exhaust, just because the exhaust had some problems. I knew it was a little wobbly before. Let me show you guys what just developed. Oh, this is gold. This is content right here. So, as you see, you got a muffler and a resonator right up in there. Muffler, resonator. So that just happened. So this is either gonna be ignorantly loud or sound like trash, but probably both. Oh my God, I hate my life. All right, so I took apart the Firebird over here. You'll notice I have some bolts in my hand. What I did was I took one fender and the hood off, and basically I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 bolts, washers, speed clips. I need 1 speed clip, 2 speed clip, 3, 4. I already have speed clips for up there and down there. I gotta go spend like $100 in hardware, but it's gonna be worth it. These aren't the fenders that I'm gonna be running the whole time. I will be painting the car and throwing all new body panels on it. This is simply so I can just start actually bolting stuff onto the car, so it's not just sitting there. So I can get my Sniper EFI on, start running fuel line, brake line, put my radiator in, and not worry about all this stuff, you know, getting constantly soaked in rain. Because obviously all this stuff that was all redone, re-seam sealed, is getting, you know, leafed. So, gonna go ahead, gonna take the Prelude because it actually works. I was gonna take the Jeep, but I don't want to melt a hole through the floor because, you know, that would suck. It'd be funny, but it would suck. Well, $36 and some change later, all this nice zinc-coated hardware. So, can't say I didn't do it right, or at least try a little bit. It is Lowe's hardware after all. In any case, gonna go ahead and try and put the fender on, I guess. So, what I did, I should probably start recording what I do because that's kind of my job. This is bolted down. There are 2 bolts holding it up here. Of course, that nice new grade 8 hardware. 2 bolts down there. Obviously, I have to cut those and those to length, but not now. And then there's 1 bolt up here, 1 bolt down here. This fender gap's actually pretty decent. Obviously, it gets a little worse towards the bottom, but that bottom one's not bolted in. These fenders aren't permanent. They're not gonna be staying on. This is just for now, so I can drive the car, so I can start working on it, get the hood on. I'm gonna be doing all new body panels whenever I decide to attack the thousands of hours of body work that needs to go into it. But I wanted to put this fender on as well, obviously, because that's how you work on cars. And this door was just iffy. And we figured out one of the brand new bushings in the door pin was bad. So ended up replacing that, threw a little weld on it because the pin is upside down and can fall out. So threw a little tack weld right on there. Can't see it, it's too dark. But now the door, if you guys know 80s and 70s Firebirds, the handle, you can hear it. The handle's a little rough, but it lines up, it's buttery smooth, opens, doesn't make, I gotta lube it. I was gonna say it doesn't make any sound, but it did. It's pretty good. It needs a little bit of lube, but that works good. So now I'm gonna go ahead, send some bolts in there and there, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, get this fender on, then we're gonna try to get the hood on, pop that carb off, obviously blow all the leaves out, throw the Sniper on, and just keep chipping away. At some point soon, I want to get my radiator cutout made so I can put my big 3-bay or 3-row aluminum radiator. So let's do it. All right, so I got 2 more bolts up here. I'm gonna run different washers at some point. I'm gonna grab either better body washers or something, but for now, it actually solidified the car, so everything is solid now. I did tighten down the radiator support because it wasn't tight before. Everything is all structurally sound. Now in these cars, as bad as it is, the fenders are a huge part of the structure and what make the car solid. So they have to be pretty close. Realized why that gap sucks. That fender's really bent. This one practically fell into place. And you'll see on this one, there's actually a really nice almost consistent gap all the way down. So not bad, I can't really complain. There's no bolts on the bottom here, but not the end of the world. So the hinges are bolted to the car. They're adjustable, they're on slots. So this can go up and down, front and rear. So for now, I have them right in the middle. We're gonna grab the Formula hood, which should close with that carb on. We'll see in a second, I guess. Okay, so it got dark out. I got my ultra mega bright light. I got some parts that I want to throw on. I got my Sniper EFI kit right there, wiper motor and all that stuff. Yeah, so we got a pump, motor, gonna bolt that onto the car. That goes over there somewhere. I might put my booster on and my master. I'm probably gonna start off by kicking the air compressor on. It's about 9 o'clock at night. So I'm gonna kick the air compressor on, start blowing stuff off, pop the carb off, put the Sniper on. The hood is on and does work and latch. Although that hinge is different, you'll notice it's rusty, and that one's nice and painted. That one's rusty because I broke the painted one. So I had this hinge on, and I guess I probably should have tested it. But as I went to close it, it just tore that, like, I don't know, 1/4 inch thick steel bracket. So that's unfortunate and impressive at the same time. So yeah, gonna turn on the air compressor, blow all the junk out of here, start picking some stuff out of the cowl. Because now that I can actually close the hood, I can start bolting pieces on. This was really the big step that I've been dreading, and it only took about 3 or 4 hours to maybe 5 to get all the panels at least bolted on enough so that they work together. It ain't perfect. I still have some gaps I need to correct, but it's all adjustable from here on. So let me get the air compressor out, let's blow some stuff off, and let's get bolting. So I have yet to go under the hood, but I cleaned out the inside of the cowl. Now I am going to show you guys inside the car. Apologies for the lighting. So these are the new floor pans. If you guys are new, did whole new floor pans, stuff to do the back, but that's going to get a special treatment because it's going to be caged. So that's different. However, I had that side seam sealed for a while, and I had this tube of seam sealer, and I wasn't sure if I was going to use it. I just did. I ran all the way along there, all the way up around there. I had to grind off a couple screws that we used to hold the floors in place. So that's all set. I'm gonna let that dry. I want to paint up in here underneath the dash just because it's a little bit rusty. Like, it's all surface rust, nothing crazy, just some surface rust, but obviously we don't want that. I also went all the way up there. Could probably use a little bit more, but this is more than the car ever came with factory, obviously, so it's good as it is. All right, we have a 1.5 inch socket. So the Sniper comes with a bunch of stuff. We have our little handheld device, a lot of wires that intimidate me, some more stuff that intimidates me. And in here we have the fuel injection throttle body itself. Looking all pretty. So let's go ahead and let's take that out. Let me find the gasket in one of these boxes and pop it on. So I had to fight the spacer that goes in between the carb and the intake because the studs for the carb were too long and were actually, I guess I'm gonna call it a carb. It's not a carb, but the studs are too long and they were hitting it. I didn't think I'd need the spacer, but I did. So I went ahead and I had to use a mallet to get the spacer off of the old carburetor. And you can see it doesn't look much different. I mean, it's a bit shinier, it's a bit newer. It's a hell of a lot more expensive, but that's kind of the point, is that this looks just like a carburetor. This isn't supposed to look like a fuel injection system, but trust me, it is. Okay, so I didn't really do much filming yesterday. However, I did go and pick up some parts from lovely O'Reilly. So these are like these little, they're called windshield wiper motor dampeners or bushings. They slide in right here. This isn't a full circle, they just slide in. I gotta get this one in and then put the tab. I believe this goes in there, and then the screw goes through that. Just a plastic cover on the motor. I finally figured out what thread these were. Apparently, for whatever reason, the 79 American-made muscle car uses a metric bolt for this one piece, but none of the other pieces. So that's fun. So I'm gonna go ahead, take this screw back out. Now, I did have to buy these screws from Lowe's. For whatever reason, it didn't come with any of the hardware. I had to buy these separately. They're like $4 or $5 for 3 of them. Which is weird, but hey, what do I know, right? So I have the, I just made sure the threads are the same as the bolts I actually bought. These should be long enough. All right, so it is bolted on, and he sees the hardware. Now the next step, is to take this nut off, hook up the actual wipers back to the motor, obviously, and he sees it, and clean out that cowl, because she got some junk, and then I can put my, plastic piece back over that and at least get some protection on the cowl, though all this little dirt can still get in. But I guess I gotta go get a vacuum it all out. So I went ahead and I attached the actual wipers to the motor and put this little plastic cowl cover back on. Grabbed the right hardware for the booster bracket, and my booster was silver. You can see the paints in the driveway. I painted it with that stuff because I wanted to throw one last coat on it, but then it came out like trash, so while it was still wet, I brake cleaned it, and then all the paint came off, so we're rocking her zinc coated. It should stay zinc coated and look this good the whole time. If it doesn't, worst case, I'll take it back off and paint it. But we're gonna go ahead and mount up this bracket so we can get that booster in. So it is the next day, but yesterday got the booster installed, got that fresh zinc coat looking all good. Now, if you know anything about cars, there's a little piece that goes on the front of this booster. That would be your master cylinder. Mine is already painted. However, I have to go bench bleed it. So we buy this kit right here. Now, some master cylinders will come with the bench bleeding thing. Mine didn't, or at least if it did, I lost it. So you get this kit. These little fittings go into your master cylinder. Right here, gonna pop it on in the vise or just put it on the bench or something. I guess I have to put it in the vise, and essentially you put the fittings in there, and then you force fluid through it to make sure there's no air. You have to bench bleed your master cylinder, kind of just a required thing. This kit was 12 bucks, so if you guys are looking to do a master cylinder, make sure you bench bleed it. So I didn't film the process, but essentially pop the top cover off. I had a big punch right here, and you're gonna put it in the piston right here, and you're obviously gonna fill up the reservoir with fluid, so both chambers. You're gonna get a hose going from this into this, and from that one into there. As you can see, you got the hoses with the fittings. You're gonna make sure the hoses are actually in the fluid, but not too long. I had to cut my hoses down. And then you're gonna put it in a vise, clamping it by the ear of where it mounts to the booster. And you're just gonna support the back of it so you don't, snap it right off of that. And you're just gonna push in until there's no more air. Make sure it tops off with fluid. Takes a lot of effort. I had to wear a welding glove to do it, because shoving this like sharp metal piece into my hand, not the best feeling in the world. All right, so the booster, the washer thing, the motor and pump, and the master cylinder are all bolted up. Now, this master cylinder keeps somewhat dripping, but it hasn't dripped in like a minute and a half, 2 minutes now. So I do have the hoses. I cut them up a little bit more. I was gonna use them as a plug. I don't know what the deal is. It sometimes was leaking, but now it's not. So I guess I'm gonna go with it for now. I'm just gonna keep an eye on it and leave this rag here, because obviously I don't want all my fresh paint getting destroyed from the brake fluid. So what I'm gonna do real quick is just clean everything up. It's all super dusty, so I'm gonna get some water and whatnot, clean up all under here, and then I'm probably gonna pull the gas tank out, because that sounds like hell. Alrighty, so I got one more step in the process done. I got my CPP proportioning valve down there, sitting on the freshly painted bracket. So this whole assembly is tight. I'm gonna throw some tape over the inlet and whatnot on the proportioning valve. Is it upside down? Okay, so I was going to drop the gas tank and do a little bit more work in this video, but I want to get this one edited. I want to get 1 or 2 more videos, maybe even 3 of doing some work on this car before we do the first official drive. Obviously, so I got to do the full fuel system, cooling system, trans, drive shaft, bunch of stuff has to get done. But I do want to end this video here. Got body panels bolted on, the door panels, a lot more of the floor is finished. It's all painted underneath. It's all seam sealed. And then if we go into the engine bay, we now have the radiator support in. We have the booster, the master proportioning valve, the wiper motor, and that assembly. We have the the long tube headers on and tightened. Tons of work went in this video. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you guys are enjoying the Firebird series, be sure to subscribe. I've been uploading as often as I can. I'm trying to make sure each video is actually interesting. I don't want to make you guys watch a 20-minute video of me putting on a bumper. So that's why I've been doing the videos like this, and that's why I haven't been uploading as frequently. Hopefully in the next couple videos it will be running. That shouldn't take too much. There's a few things I gotta buy to make it run. I gotta finish the fuel system, so I gotta grab some fuel line. I gotta get a cooling system all situated for it, so custom fit the radiator, get some fans and some electrical going. But other than that, it should run pretty soon. Like I said, if you guys did like this video, be sure to hit that like button. Thank you guys so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.
Told my brothers one day we gon' make it. We just gotta grind for that paycheck. Mama told me one day I'll be famous. Remember when she used to say she hate this. Back then they would laugh when I say shit. Now I'm inside all them people's playlists. So one day I'll be stomping.